Hello and welcome to this week's historic best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video on what I'm calling Fair-ish Goblins. Fair-ish Goblins is a red-green version of Goblins. It deviates from the traditional mono-red for some good cards, like I think Collected Company is a pretty fun card, as well as Atarka's Command, both of whom are, well, Atarka's Command being really a newer card that I personally thought, when I saw it revealed, would go very well with Goblins, and I'm not entirely disappointed. We also make use of the new Hobgoblin Bandit Lord as a couple of. It is, if we need it to be just another Goblin Lord and an okay body. We can also make use of its secondary activated ability to potentially go over our opponent if they have a board wide enough or through some other means we think they'll be able to deal with our very wide board. Again, opposing go wide decks or settle the wreckage or whatever, having the Bandit Lord as an alternate form of reach is very nice. The rest of the deck is not too terribly different from a lot of the base mono red versions. For Muxus, because that's the whole payoff for doing the deck, running a couple Krenkos, partially because I only have 2 Krenkos and I don't want to spend the wild cards. And also because when we're running our 3 collected companies, and yes, the 3 is intentional through my week of testing, we only really want 2, since really the legendary rule can become more of a hindrance than some would imagine. Also running 4 Trashmasters as more lords in general, and also as a way to have some main deck artifact hate for the occasional Grafdigger Cage style effect, which are pretty common. People will bring those in pretty often in sideboard games. And having a way to sort of counteract a series counter to your plan in your main deck is a nice little bit of versatility. I'll also talk about the 3 collected companies. I have 4 copies, as you would have seen from other videos on this channel. But from having a lot of, the last week of testing and iteration of this deck that I usually do for these videos, the 4th one is a little extra, seeing how a lot of your, well, not a lot, a good amount of your Goblins in the deck, like your Muxus and your Krenkos and your Trashmasters, don't get hit by Collected Company. I brought it down to 4. If you wanted to say, if you were at home and you wanted to switch it up, you can say take 1 Trashmaster out and put 1 company in. I will leave that particular decision up to you. Anywho, back onto the rest of the deck. We have 3 Warchiefs. Again, holdover from the mono red version, makes our things cheaper and gives them haste. Our Chieftain makes our other things bigger and have haste. All good things we like to hit off Collected Company, as well as the Goblin Matron, which is basically a 3-mana Goblin tutor. And since we're not going to get tribal cards, unfortunately, it can basically be extra copies of anything we need. Like if we need a Skirk Prospector to ramp things out, it could be that. If we need some Snoop action to get more activated abilities or sort of see what we're drawing, it could be that. It can be basically whatever you need it to be, so Goblin Matrons are lovely. I'm running 2 Zhur-Taa Goblins as just a nice little creature that can sometimes just help to stall in the early game, as well as just be a good sort of beater of a dude. For Atarka's Command, again, because it can do a lot of things. Sometimes, and really the most often you'll see, likely in this particular set of videos, is you just bolt somebody and ramp and put a card, basically ramp a little bit. But we can make use of all 4 of the abilities, so we don't really mind. Lands are pretty self-explanatory. Some Stomping Grounds and some Pathways for easy mana. Some Forest and some Mountains. I'm running 4 Ramen Up Ruins as basically another form of a mountain, really, that we can turn into shocks at our opponent's face late game if we need to, as well as 2 Dens of the Bugbear to sort of just have a good creature land that also happens to be on Tribe. And that is the main deck of my red-green Fairish Goblins. Sideboard, pretty easy to understand, a lot of just hate cards, really. Few copies of a Braid as creature removal if we need it, or artifact removal if we need it, so we enjoy the flexibility. Hi, sweet baby cats. I know you're playing, and it's very exciting. Anywho, 3 Cinder Vines as a way to deal with the absolute overabundance of non-creature spells, as a way to sort of chip our opponent down. Can also be more artifact or enchantment hate if we need it to be this way. Again, we like the flexibility of our sideboard slots to do a lot of things in this deck, or I do anyway. And Cinder Vines works much like an Abrade in its versatility factor. Another versatile little card is Klothys, God of Destiny. A nice little bit of some graveyard hate, since graveyard hate is not... Well, it's nice to have, but barring your Arcanist style or the occasional Cat Oven deck, there's not a whole lot of graveyard decks going around in my personal / anecdotal experience. I am certain your mileage will vary, so don't be afraid to doctor the number of Klothyses if you feel graveyard hate is more relevant for you. I'm actually running a couple Life Goes On, since I've run into a good amount of little aggro decks, several Elves decks really, and those are the only ones that can kind of out-explosive you, and being able to chump some Goblins and then throw a Life Goes On there to sort of stabilize and buy yourself an extra turn or two is way more useful than you would imagine. Running a couple of Burning Hands is basically big green dude hate, since mono red decks don't really have, well, not mono red, red base decks don't really have an answer to things like Elder Gargaroths, and if somebody's able to resolve a Gargaroth and can start blocking your board and attacking, it's just a nightmare and you almost lose immediately. Fry, for much the same reason as a Burning Hand, there's lots of particularly annoying white or blue creatures or walkers that we just want to be able to get rid of and not have to worry about. And that is the red-green fair-ish Goblins deck. And since, like last week, what I told you, the video got like an extra 30-40 seconds on average of view time, so I made a promise that I would include more, or go back to doing more in-game footage. So that's what we're going to do right now. We shall go to game number 1. Game number 1 with my fairish Goblins deck. We'll go ahead and play first because we have a brain in our head. This is honestly a pretty good opening hand. We would like a single green so we can have access to, what's it called? A collected company if we draw it. But other than that, we're basically cooking with gas. Our opponent is mulliganing down. I mean, I'll take it. Go ahead and play Din, since it can, or while it can come in untapped. Our opponent, Godless Shrine into a Thraben Inspector. Not bad. We'll go ahead and play the second Din again while it can come in untapped. And we'll just play Snoop. Can play a Matron next turn. If we play a Matron, what do we look for next? If we get the Matron, we might go looking for a Warchief, maybe? Pathway from our opponent, followed by a Freebooter, but we don't have any non-creatures! We're Goblins, son, that won't save you now. Let's see. Atarka's command is on top, so we'll go ahead and ramen up Ruins. Play our Matron. Go ahead and look for our... I like the Warchief. It'll make things a little cheaper. Hopefully we can do the fun thing. I think we can attack, since we're okay to just try and, like, mess up our opponent's board. If they take the double block, we're fine with trading away. Does he block? This is the question. He could double block and kill the Snoop. We'll go ahead and get rid of the Flyer first, since we can deal with an opposing dude on the ground. We're not really worried about that. Another Freebooter, but again... But I think he's more just playing bodies to block with. We're not gonna block with our Matron. Go ahead and play a Mountain, and then play a Warchief. Go ahead and attack with the Warchief, since it's a free attack. See what we draw next turn. We can always just Krenko and start building up a big scary board if we want to. Are we going against a humans deck? Again, we won't block. Oh, that's honestly pretty good, though. You know what? We will go Goblin Chieftain, so we can attack with our whole board here. And there's not really a good block they can take. This has actually been a good game. Hopefully I get to keep this footage. They don't, like, quit out or something. But this has been a good showing of why I built this deck the way that I did, and not just copied a admittedly pretty boring version of the list. In that this version, in my own experience, when compared to the mono-red versions, can just play a normal kind of stompy beatdown game if it needs to, if you can't rely solely on the explosive power of the original mono-red version. Let's see, play the Mountain. Honestly, we'll just do Mob Boss and then make a buttload of dudes and attack. I'm just gonna... I'll attack with the Matron and the newly created tokens. Bang! I might have actually been able to attack all there and just blew them out. So that might have been a bad... or a wrong call. What did our opponent do? We didn't see that much too scary other than some like low-to-the-ground creatures, so we'll just run it again. I mean, if he would have drawn a Kudro, that could have started to suck, but he would have had to sacrifice humans to use Kudro, so... There is a humans deck, though. There's enough of good humans and some payoffs in the form of, like, Kudro, and maybe Generals and Enforcers for legendary humans. But you can make a legendary humans kind of deck. I think I might have actually made a video on that. Anywho. Game 2, or Match 2, whatever you want to call it, of Game 1. Our opponent, again, if they have a brain, will go first. And indeed, they do have a brain. Good on them. Ancient Ziggurat, Fervent Champion, playing Mardu humans. Alright. Go ahead and Stomping Grounds. We might play the Zhur-Taa as a 3/3 just to, like, present a big blocker. Never mind, now it doesn't matter. Well, no, it can still matter, actually. That's not true. That is an explosive start. We'll do Zhur-Taa and a +1/+1 counter. Now, they shouldn't, by most accounts, be able to play like a traditional removal spell here. You can attack with the whole... Yeah! Damn. Alright, I like your style, Jack. So we should be able to block one of them, regardless of how they assign their Fervent Champion buffs. And right now, we're just kind of looking to stabilize the hold and to wait. I think next turn will probably just be a Goblin Chieftain, since we're more looking or wanting to slowly chip away at their board. We'll block the 2-power one, just because it's the biggest one we can block. Play our Ruins, play our Chieftain. Again, we're not going to attack, since we're looking to kind of wait. I see now, though, that... maybe next game we'll cut like 2 commands for a couple life goes on. Okay, so we do block 1 Fervent Champion and block 1 Outcast. We take 3 damage and go to 6. He can sacrifice the bodyguard. I was about to say, but I would actually advise against that. Another land. We'll go up and play the Trashmaster. We're just wanting to make the biggest, most robust board that we can manage to spit out there. Go ahead, again, not attack. We could very easily get blown out by, like, a Embercleave or something silly. Scourge Barons from our opponent, and now they're waiting, which is good. So I think we'll skirt Prospector. It is still nice to have one of these. We'll Goblin Matron. Probably looking for a Krenko. Take action. Mob Boss. Again, we're just going to hold for a turn. We're far ahead. We have a game up on our opponent. There's no reason to just throw this away. Tajik from our opponent. Alright. He does attack. Prevent all non-combat damage, right? Yeah. Okay, he's mentoring. Good thing. Fervent Champion makes that bigger. At which point you block the Dauntless with the 5 power. Let's see. 4 blocks 3, 3 blocks 1, and Matron blocks the 1. This is damn near GG. Not because I think we might be able to just kill our opponent, to be fair. There we go. Good game 1. Showing this build's ability to play just a legit normal game. And with that, we'll go on to game number 2. And game number 2 with fair-ish goblins. Again, play first because we have a brain. Go ahead and keep this. Not a terribly exciting hand, but it'll do the job. Go ahead and play Skirt Prospector on 1 off of a mountain, pretty much regardless of what happens. Oh, pardon me. To his head burpee. See what our opponent does. Hopefully they're there so I can bang this video out real fast. And a sec. Now, I love this particular board. There we are. Again, mountain into a Prospector. Opponent's turn. Swamp into a Forsworn Paladin. 1/1 menace, 2 tap, pay a life, treasure token, 3 black, creature gets 2 power till end. Okay. It's not bad. I just don't know if it's good. We'll go ahead and just hold. Next turn we can play the Pathway for red. Oh, you're Sultai something. Alright. Don't know what your deck is, but hey, that's cool. Go ahead again, Pathway for red. Probably play a Goblin Chieftain. And it's not giving him priority, so he probably doesn't have anything to do. Does he block or not? I think you actually don't block this one and just like let some damage through. Let's see what our opponent does next turn. Okay, we're up to 4-color shenaniganery. And they're playing a lot of temples, so we might just be able to run them down. That is bold to... I mean, I get it, but that's not really respecting this particular deck. I think we're honestly just going to play a Trashmaster and just run them down. We could, like, hope for a good collected company, but I think we can just run them down before they can do anything. See what our opponent does. Have access to 5 mana next turn. 1 blocker. Oh, is it 5 color? Oh, is it like Tiamat dragons? I don't know why you want Forsworn Paladin in that, but whatever. That seemed like a actually not good idea, but what do I know? Let's see. Probably doesn't attack because he appears to have a brain. I think our play is to just play the Bandit Lord and swing, since I don't think there's a way we lose here. Right, he blocks 2, minimum damage he gets through is 8. Unless he has like a Heartless Act, some sort of kill spell with those 2 mana, which admittedly is possible. Hi, sweetheart. I love you. The dad is almost done with that video. And then we can cuddle. Again, blocking the most damage on the board, which is the correct thing to do, even though I think you still die. The game. Our opponent's deck appears to be what little I could take is probably some sort of Tiamat dragon build. I think we can just run it down, provided we get good draws and all that, as evidenced by that young gold dragon, whatever that card's called, that limited bomb. Let's see. Again, our opponent will likely go first because they have a brain, and you don't want to give the play to a Goblin's deck. Okay, this will be a good one. We can do things with it. We'll also show probably the most commonly used combination for Atarka's command. It's usually just a bolt and a ramp spell. Exactly. Oh, okay, yeah, he has to be some sort of Tiamat thing. Temple of the Dragon Queen enters the battlefield. You may reveal a dragon card from your hand. It enters tapped unless you reveal a dragon this way or you control a dragon. Choose a color, add 1 mana of chosen color. Alright, that's not bad. My singular EDH Atarka build, probably like that. Anywho, Stomping Ground. Playing Atarka's command, bolting our opponent, and ramping us a land. Mountain. Away it goes. Probably just play Krenko next turn. I would be very surprised. Island, yeah. This might be, 4 or 5 color something. Go ahead and play Krenko. Another Fabled Passage. Of course, this time the land comes into play untapped. We do have our 5th land, though, which is something. The Emerald Predator. What does that do again? Because this card doesn't see any historic play. Let's see. 4 mana 3/3 flyer becomes tapped. Exile a card from a graveyard. Well, 1 counter on it. Sack another creature. Indestructible. Tap it. So it's like a flying Underwhelm Lich. It's like cool, but not good. We'll go ahead and Trashmaster since we want to just make the biggest load we can. We'll go ahead and attack with the Krenko probably. Next turn we can just... Oh, he just takes the block. Alright. I was about to say. Next turn we can just run up ruins, play a Muxus, and hope to blow them to Kingdom Come. Or blow them up to Kingdom Come. Pardon the Freudian slip there. Seize the spoils. That's not how you live. To be fair, though, again, if it is some sort of Tiamat deck, I applaud your commitment to the bit as a fellow dragon player and lover. I applaud it. I just don't know if Tiamat is that good. 5-color stuff in Historic usually isn't that good, with like the exception of Niv Mizzet. See what Muxus gets us on the old go-around this time. Fuck that! That's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm sacrificing 4 power to put 4 power in, right? And they have +2/+2, so it's actually gaining 4. There you go! Sometimes you just blow people out that are kind of going too slow. And that is red-green fairish goblins. Wanted to thank you all for watching. Sub if you like me. Like the video if you liked it. If you have any sort of questions or comments, as long as they're constructive, that's what comments are for. And there should be the deck list down in the description below. Thank you all. Have a great day. And stay safe. Bye-bye.